If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Good night from the Dusty Wheel. And we sit around here, smash to black.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Good night from the Dusty Wheel. And we sit around here, smash to black. Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, The Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And tonight we're back with some news, with some surprisingly interesting news about Season 2. Perhaps that it's going to show up in 2023. To the sadness, hopefully you enjoyed that thumbnail, sadness of Perrin and Egwene and the rest of fandom. And we're also going to be talking about the other answers that Rafe gave on this Empire Magazine spoiler podcast. Well, there's a link in the description of this video where you can find that if you haven't already listened to it. Also, some fans have done some summaries. We'll talk about those. And we'll also be talking about our kickoff of Season 2 of the Wheel of Time Idol Contest. That's right, if you didn't catch the Wheel of Time Song Parody Contest last year, we're back with another year of that, looking for the best Wheel of Time song parody out there among fandom, and I can't wait to talk about that contest coming up with my wonderful two guests. Appropriately, let me welcome Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern and John from What Up. What up, guys?
Hello.
How's it going?
Nice. What up, guys? That's good. That's good.
So let's jump into it. Obviously, people that are watching right now, they're excited about the Wheel of Time Song Parody Contest, sure. But what they would really like to kind of know is, why are we so excited about this news that we got today? There's a lot of answers that Rafe gave. And so let me give you a little bit of context here. We're not going to go too deep here for everyone watching. But like I said, this went out today. Empire Magazine, Helen O'Hara was the individual who did the interview with Rafe. And you can go look this up on their site. It does cost a few dollars, if you will, or a few euros, or whatever it was I paid. I'm not sure what I paid, but it wasn't too much. And you can listen to the entire interview. I think it's about 30 minutes. It's a great interview with a lot of different nuance, but we'll actually show some quotes from this. And I think we got to start basically how this ended. So let me show you the quote on the screen. I want to talk about this last question that Helen had for Rafe and Rafe's answer, because I think this one's going to be the one most fans here that are looking at this show right at this moment are going to be most interested in. So Rafe was asked, like, what's up with Season 2? And he responded, as far as when it would show up, he said, a lot longer than you think. Someone texted me the other day and was like, one of my friends was like, oh, I hear we're getting a trailer for Season 2 in March. And I was like, I don't know who you're hearing that from, but that's not even close to the time frame we're on. We certainly won't be out. There will be a time in between Lord of the Rings and the Wheel of Time as well. So we're working hard on them, but it will be a while before people see it. And we'll hopefully have some really cool content, though, that's coming out between seasons. I was just on another call about it. So there'll be cool stuff for people to be watching that's Wheel of Time content that's between the seasons. Well, how does this hit you, Lauren, when you heard that? Or is this the first time you've actually seen that exact quote?
Yeah, so I'm not fancy like you. I didn't go to the paywall and pay to read the article. I just
Oh.
read people's summaries. So
know.
it's nice seeing the actual direct quote. Yeah, it excites me a little because one of my favorite things they did was those animated shorts, and it makes
Yeah.
me feel like maybe that's what he's saying when he says we'll be getting content between now and then, is maybe more of that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, that excites me. I mean, that's totally just me guessing, but
Well, I
that would be
remember he
great.
said something like at the end of the year in another interview where maybe some of the things we think of as deleted scenes that they did film
Oh
that we
yeah,
didn't get.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see something with Egwene and Nynaeve. They've shown that picture at least on official the official kind of screenshots of scenes from the show where Egwene is talking to Nynaeve. Maybe we'll get something like that. John,
yes.
was this did this below your expectations as far as when the show might drop? Are you still hopeful that end of 2022 is reasonable?
No,
No?
no.
You're done.
First quarter next year is my guess. Yeah, no. I would say late first quarter next year is my guess.
Okay, so you're thinking March time.
Unfortunately.
That's
Yeah.
my birthday time frame. Honestly, I don't remember when Rafe said this, but I thought it was around October. He was answering some questions, maybe it was October, November, and he said somewhere between, I thought he mentioned this, somewhere between 12 and 18 months is typical, or what the expectation might be. So
Yeah.
we were never even thinking before November of this year.
No.
In that
That was the
time frame.
earliest, yeah.
Yeah. And so if you count that out, 18 months from that time, it is kind of March, April. I did ask this question in chat. If you're here with us on YouTube, you would see this right now. The question was, due to this recent kind of response about season 2 dropping, when do you think season 2 will premiere? End of 2022? There's still 50% of people are still hopeful. Like maybe I'm assuming kind of they're thinking like December, late December. First quarter of 2023 is getting 42%. Not really many, maybe total of 10% think it'll go further than the first quarter of 2023. Lauren, what are you thinking as far as when this is going to drop, considering this quote from Rafe, other things that's been said, and just kind of your overall impression of when we might see it?
Yeah, well, it seems like there's two schools of thought here. There's this idea that, okay, Lord of the Rings is starting in, isn't it like early September?
Yeah.
September
And
2nd, yeah.
so some people might think, and I'm kind of leaning towards this as a hopeful idea, but John's probably right. But this idea that maybe they'll just kind of want to continue to demand those, to be ahead on the airwaves, so to speak. So maybe right when Lord of the Rings ends, time will come out. Maybe they'll give people like a week breather or something. That was originally Disney Plus's plan with all their Marvel content. It was like, there was like maybe a week between new Marvel shows coming out for a while there, right? So maybe that's what some people think, and that's obviously what I'm hopeful about. That being said, I prefer not to have a show during the holidays again. That was insane for me, and I prefer to have a little bit of a breather, start the new year, and then get into it. The exciting thing is, if John's right, we might actually get a Wheel of Time Super Bowl trailer.
Oh, a
next
Super Bowl
year,
trailer.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
So that could be cool.
I love the hope from Melindra here in chat. Said maybe it means Watt comes out before Lord of the Rings. No.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not happening. Right?
And what's interesting is Rafe says a lot longer than you think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, that's really generic. Like, who is he talking about? But
Well,
I think most of us were thinking this year.
Most of us were thinking, I think most people were thinking November, and a lot longer than you think means it. Yeah, no. So
I'm going to end this poll here. About 300 of you voted on this. End of 2022, still winning with 48% of this vote. I'm sure people are out there like, well, I didn't see this exact quote. I was voting before that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask something at the end of this if it's changed. Again, 43%, or I guess everyone else believes it'll come out sometime in 2023. So that is one of the big pieces of just overall news, I think, when it comes to what Rafe had to say about this. But there are plenty of other quotes, and I want to get to those here. So let's, while this poll finishes up, let me jump to some of the ones that I thought were really interesting. And we'll talk about this. Like we mentioned, some fans like Uno's eye patch here did this wonderful. If you go on Twitter, I saw this kind of making the rounds today. Excuse me. And Uno's eye patch has done a fantastic job of summarizing some of these points. And so you can go through this link. Maybe I'll throw this up here for everyone we'll get this out into chat, but I'll put this up in the description of the video afterwards. We'll be talking about this, but we won't need to go through every single one of these points, but I want to go through the kind of the top most interesting pieces to this. So, and maybe before, I mean, obviously the one that had to do with the end of the season was interesting to me. Maybe let's go to you, John. What is one of the things that came out of that interview that struck you as interesting?
I like that he said that Abby was cast. So Avienda's cast.
Yeah.
So I want to start this by saying he said cast. So there's a chance we won't see her in season 2. Just because she's cast doesn't mean she's going to show up, right? And he did say, I think in the same time frame, that we would see far more Aiel than we expect in season 3, or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact quote, but he said there's a lot of Aiel in season 3.
But you should know that he posted later and said that was a misprint. He meant season 2.
Okay. Oh,
he didn't mean season 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't catch. So maybe we'll see her then. I don't know. I would love to see her. But if we're seeing far more, we already know that there was some leaked type desert filming locations. WhatSeries.com put out. So my guess is they're filming scenes in the waste, but I don't think we're getting scenes from the books in the waste, if that makes any sense at all. I think we're getting either precursors to did you say spoilers at all for this?
Oh, so that's a good point. For those of you that are kind of wondering about spoilers for this, we'll try to stay in like the first 4 books of the series. Okay. We'll try not to ruin anything after that. But because Rafe is saying he's combining, and I want to show that quote here because I think it will kind of connect with what you're saying, John. Books 2 and 3 are being combined for this season 2, so we have to be able to spoil some of those. So just remember, there are going to be spoilers. We are going to open the phone lines. We're going to be talking about Wheel of Time Idol contest coming up. We're going to be giving away a mug at the end of the show. We have a lot more material to cover here. But let me maybe show that one, John, while we're talking, because I think, like I said, I think it relates to what you're saying here. So here you go. This one is when Rafe said season 2 is combining books 2 and 3. A lot of the characters are sort of on their book 3 journey, and a lot of the characters are on their book 2 journey. And you can tell from the finale of season 1 which characters are in which place. Matt is very much experiencing some of his stories from book 3, and in book 3, that chapter has such a lightness to him. That character has such a lightness to him. There's just something that suddenly pops and feels like it makes you happy when you get to a Matt chapter that you've got a smile on your face. But before we jump into that discussion of Matt, this idea of season 2, season 3 being combined, I mean, the Aiel that we meet are on this side, right? They're also on their way towards Tyr. And so you have that kind of notion of, because Rafe did say you're going to see, I think he said, let me get the exact quote, you will see more of the Aiel than you are expecting in season 2. So, I mean, to you, Lauren, what are you expecting? Do you think it's just going to be kind of that scene that we're thinking of where, we actually meet the Aiel over here, if you will, in Randland versus over in the Waste? Or do you think we actually will go to where the Aiel are at, and they'll kind of give us maybe a cold open in the Waste?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, to be honest, I was hoping, and to be honest, I think I want to spoil a little bit of book 4 as well here.
Okay.
I don't know if we're...
Yeah, you can go up to book 4. So
okay.
Again, you can include book 4 for people that are staying here. You're going to get some spoiling in book 4. But go ahead. Yeah.
I think it would be really cool to have some sort of cold open where we see either like a past experience with Aiel prophecy or Ruidion, or however that's said, or something to that effect. Maybe some sort of glass columns thing, but at the same time, that might be too much. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I love how Robert Jordan introduced the Aiel in book 2 and 3, how they're sort of like these mysterious people who kind of appear out of nowhere. And I thought that was really cool how Robert Jordan did it. But I have a hard time guessing what's going to happen in the show, because every scene that I love from the books has been so different in the show, or not there in the way that I expected, that I can't say they're probably going to be in that Ogier, setting, and they're probably going to meet some Aiel there or whatever, because that, for all we know, that might not happen. But I would like to see some sort of cold open where we learn a little bit more about why they crossed the spine of the world or something to that.
Interesting. Yeah. I do want to point out that Rafe also said, he said, I've enjoyed, Avienda has been cast. To see her coming to life is exciting. So I feel like that leans into her being
yeah,
part of
she's
season
probably
2.
she's probably in season 2. So that blows that out of the water.
And,
Yeah, that would be cool.
and that poll question, about 82% of you do believe that we would see Aviendha. Maybe that increased more, but he said that, and he brought this up about the Aiel. He mentioned with the Aes Sedai, he always came into the adaptation, or before it was a part of the adaptation, he was already had the mindset that you got to introduce the Aes Sedai early in season 1 if you were to do a show.
And I think he said the White Tower as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he mentioned the Aiel he thought were just as iconic, and that's one of the reasons why they pushed for that cold open. And then he said that continues in season 2, this idea of really kind of needing to bring the Aiel in and have people understand them. So I'd be surprised when he says you'll see more of the Aiel. It feels like we're going to get more than cold opens and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would love to see, I don't know if this is possible, but I would love to see them take one of the Aiel, it doesn't matter who, probably Aviendha, because whoever, and follow that as a partial storyline for season 2 over an episode or two, sort of like they did with Logain for season 1. You know what I mean? Stuff that isn't necessarily in the books, but could be tied in or related, or precursors to actually meeting them. Like, so we see her in the Waste, or we see Rourke in the Waste, or one of them, one of the particular Aiel, and they follow them. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, it's the Aiel. I think when they talk about this Rand at the end of season 1, he looks off and he kind of seems like he's looking towards the Waste. People are like, maybe Rand's on his way there. I didn't like that idea, but I am surprised just how much that Rafe is talking about that the Aiel are. This suggests that the Aiel are going to play a larger role than I even imagined they would. But that makes sense when he's saying you're combining books 2 and 3, which I don't know. When he says that to you, Lauren, are you concerned? We used to joke that like season 1 was going to be books 1 and 2. Some of us took it seriously, like John, but
I was so wrong.
I'll let you live that down someday.
Yeah. Can I just say, I feel like Rafe is being more open in this interview. He's being a little more detail focused than he has been in the past. Maybe I'm wrong, but the fact that he's saying, oh yeah, we're going to get Mat for book 3 and we're going to get more Aiel than normal. And I feel like he's kind of giving us a little bit more. Maybe he's been given a little more permission to do this, or maybe he's feeling more comfortable about where they're heading. I don't know, but I like that. As far as the Aiel specifically and how they're going to be integrated, I don't know. I'm very excited to see where they take it. I just can't possibly predict where it's going to go, because I already feel like they've gone off, not off the rails, but in their own direction in so many ways. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the interesting piece of this, combining books 2 and 3. If we thought that they made changes to season 1, book 1, then to combine those 2 books, they're going to have to make changes, right?
Right.
Maybe even more significant at this point. That's the question I have. I asked everybody, by the way, if we'll see Rhuidean in season 2, even at a distance. 54% think no. Okay. I was kind of curious if we thought we might get a kind of like the Malkir, perhaps, where you get something off
just
in the distance,
something.
maybe.
I was going to say, as speaking of books 2 and 3,
yeah,
I think we all have kind of suspected that they're going to combine certain elements of those, haven't we?
Sure.
I don't know. I know we also suspected 1 and 2 in the first season, but because of the way that they've taken it, now that we actually know the story they're telling and we kind of know how they've established things and how season 1 was ended, to me, it makes sense to introduce the Shan-Chan and the Aiel as 2 cultures that have very different beliefs and sort of conflicts early on at the same time. I like that idea. I like the idea of having them both introduced early. I also like the idea of Rand meeting Selene and having some sort of experience with Aiel with her, because Selene had experience with Aiel in the past, right? Now this is kind of like big spoilers, I guess, but that, to me, that would be really interesting thing to explore, and it would be a fun way to kind of introduce some of these intricate ideas of the past through these types of scenes that they could put together.
Yeah.
The thing is too is with how different season 1 was from the Eye of the World, and it was. The beats were there, and they kind of sort of ended up in the same place at the end. And I think for season 2, what my expectations are after watching the first season is we will see certain scenes, certain nods to the books, nods to the fans, but it'll be completely different. Like not even remotely close, because let's face it, they're compressing the rest of the books into possibly 7 seasons. So, and if he's saying books 2 and 3, It wouldn't shock me if there's storylines from 4, 5, and 6 a little bit in there interspersed somewhere, or if there's totally brand new stuff. I mean, we had the Stefan stuff for season 1 that was like an episode and a half. So
Right.
are we going to get other brand new things for season 2? So we might get a nod to Kyrian, because we know that Barthanes is cast. We might get a little bit there. Will we get Falme, maybe a smidge? Will we get Tyr even? Are they going to spend an episode and a half in the Waste or an episode in the Waste? Like I think we're going to see small scenes or small bits where we're going to go, I know where they're going with this, or I know what that is, but the rest of it's all going to be brand new.
Yeah.
That's what I want to ask. That's what I ask everybody here in chat. And like I said, if you're happen to be watching us from Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch, come over to YouTube and you can kind of jump into these polls. How many changes will there be in season 2 from books 2 and 3? And I have the options here as fewer than in season 1, as much as season 1, and more than season 1. Are the 3 options here. And I want to ask you all this. Basically, season 1 being different from the Eye of the World, if you will. So I'm kind of curious what people think about this. Lauren, do you think in the end, do you think we'll get even more changes from books to screen, if you will, in this upcoming season than we saw from season 1? Or do you think it's going to be about the same?
It's interesting because a lot of book readers often say the Eye of the World is weird. It's hard to adapt. It's the least Wheel of Time book of the Wheel of Time books, things of that nature. And so I do think that season 1 in some ways had to take certain liberties. We also know that Rafe really likes the Aes Sedai and that it was important to him to introduce them earlier on than the books do. And so we also know that Rafe likes the Aiel. I mean, who doesn't? Like, if you're a fan of the Wheel of Time, the Aiel are a big reason, right? So I think I get the feeling that as we continue, we're going to get closer to the books in certain ways, plot points and characters specifically. But just like season 1, how those characters interact, where they end up, the very specific details of locations and maybe the order of events might be slightly off or changed. But I'm actually in the as much as or slightly less than season 1 camp.
Okay. John, just you quickly. I know you just talked about this. You think there's going to actually be more, I think. I saw
More,
you
yeah.
kind of shake your head.
Yeah.
That is kind of winning at this moment at 50% of the votes. About 200 people have voted on that. Okay, let us jump to another topic here. I think Matt is a good place to jump to. Anas, thank you very much for the tip. Dropped a comment in here. Let me mention this. Anas said, when I heard him talking about Matt or Donal, what I really heard was Matt with a quarterstaff in a practice yard.
Yes.
Is there hope? Let me show this quote again. John, did this quote give you hope that we're going to see the quarterstaff scene?
Yes. This is the first thing I thought of. Now, I if I had to keep any scene from book 2, 3, and 4 intact, it'd be that one.
Yeah, I feel like Rafe did a
super
mistake.
biased.
Rafe has. This is a mistake on Rafe's part to describe this just like this if he doesn't give that scene. Like, I feel like this is so much a setup for fans right now. To say this, right? To say, and in book 3, that character has such a lightness to him. There's something that suddenly pops and feels like it makes you happy when you get to a Matt chapter that you've got a smile on your face.
So if we don't see him thump Gowan and Glad, and we don't see him stuff 3 chickens up his sleeve, then I don't know.
What are we even doing here? What is the point? This goes along really well too with what Rafe said in another answer. He said that Amazon gave him a 250-page document of sort of questions that they asked readers of the books, people who started the books and quit, people who only read book 1, people who had never read the book. And he said the majority, or not the majority, but many of the answers or the feedback that they got was that Matt was underdeveloped in the first 2 books. And it really isn't until the 3rd book that Matt becomes a character. And I know as a fan of the books, that's exactly how I feel. Like, Matt and whatever, it was all Rand for me in the first 2 books, a little bit of Perrin. But when Matt has that experience, really that scene with Gawain and Galad, that is the moment for me, at least, when I fell in love with Matt's character. And so my feeling is that's absolutely what he's talking about. This is, the fact that he talks about Donal is bringing in this tone to Matt that's a little bit different maybe from Barney, but is also great. Yeah. Like, to me, that's the Matt, that's the goofy gambler, sort of funnier take on Matt that I'm hoping to see.
Post-healing Matt, yeah,
exactly. So it just makes sense to me that is absolutely where they're going. Now, my question is, do you think Gawain and Galad, this will be the first time they're introduced?
To introduce them in that scene, you mean?
Yeah, like this could be the first time we see them. Do you think we're getting
that could be fun.
Camelin, or do you think it's just straight at the tower? Elaine and her brothers are already there.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got a scene from Camelin. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like some kind of maybe a cold open from Camelin or some kind of scene. It's hard to think that they actually brought Morghese in already, but maybe Elida. I don't know. I can see them doing something with characters maybe are not as important, but something in Camelin that gives us a feel for where Elaine and Gawain and Galad came from. Let me end this vote and let me go back to this. Just almost, it's getting close to about 300 of you voted on this. As far as how many changes will there be in season 2 from the books as compared to season 1, 49% of you are saying more than season 1. 44% as much as season 1, and only 7% are hopeful for fewer than season 1. So actually, this is probably a good thing, which is, I'll be honest, the couple hundred of you that are here watching this, you're hardcore fan freaks to be showing up on a Wednesday night, like at least a year out, likely from the show. And the fact that you're like 7% of you are like, not fewer changes. It seems like they've done a good job in season 1 of prepping us, if you will. Beth said, thank you very much for the tip, Beth. Said, love this panel. How do you think Tyr and Falma are going to be able to be effectively played out in the same season and maybe at the same time? I feel it's almost too much content at once. And I think that's a very good point. I mean, he didn't really talk about this. It's not one of the questions that at least was recorded or that Helen has here in the podcast about Tyr and Falma. Does mention here, we're going to get some mentions that we're going to get some characters in their book 2 journeys and some characters in their book 3 journeys, which is suggestive that we are going to see Tyr and Falma. John, is that where you're at? You think that we're going to get like some kind of like separate missions going on in both cities?
So I initially thought they would kind of combine the two of them just as kind of like a fun whatever. And then I realized that because they're changing things, I think we're going to see Selene maybe pushing Rand towards Tyr, and he may even go there or meet the Aiel that we're talking about and end up taking the stone, and his story in Falma doesn't happen at all. Maybe because they're saying that they're going to develop Perrin. I think that was one of the quotes he said, they're going to develop Perrin a bit more in season 2 as well as Matt. Maybe they'll take his place and they'll do more in Falma than before, and they split it, and that way they can get both storylines, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak, and basically end both books.
Yeah, you could. You could have it where it's not really Rand's battle with Ashamael in the sky that somehow is connected to the battle on the ground, that's somehow connected to the horn. I've made fun of this battle before, but you could take away the Rand aspect of it, still include the horn, and actually have the Horn heroes, White Cloaks, Falma thing going on, and have obviously the Aiel Rand side of this in Tyr potentially. He did make a mention. I think I have a quote for this. Oh, before I show this quote, for those of you that are watching us on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, this was your sneak peek into our discussion. This will be going on for at least another hour plus. We'll be taking some calls, possibly. We'll see if we can weave some calls into this. Like I said, we're giving away a mug, talking about Wheel of Time Idol contest coming up. That's right, Wheel of Time song parodies. It was amazing last year. If you'd missed it, it's still online. You can go watch it. We look forward to those submissions. And we're going to still be breaking down this interview, for at least for the next 30 minutes, talking about kind of our favorite hits. But thank you very much. For those of you that are on other social media platforms, we'll see you back here at the Dusty Wheel. And for those of you here on YouTube, stick around. We're going to continue this conversation. And what I want to do is go to you, Lauren, for the answer on this question that Beth had, and then jump back into some of these answers. I think I was going to look up a quote that had to do, and I lost... What was it? Something that Rafe said. Taylor, can I grab that back from you? Okay. Let me see if I can find out where this is at and see if I have this quote. No, I don't think I see it just yet. So let's go to you, Lauren. I'll look for the quote. Do you think, to Beth's answer, that we're actually going to get Tyr and Falma and there might become some kind of split plot at the same time? Or do you think like one after the other or just one of them?
I'm hopeful for both. I have a hard time believing they're going to manage that, considering the pacing of season 1. That being said, just because the Seanchan are in the West and attacking doesn't mean they can't end up in Tyr. It's still coastal, is it not? I know that's kind of a cop out maybe, but they do end up in Ebu Dar at some point, which is isn't that further east than Tyr or about the same? So my feeling is you could have them start in the west. They could cause some trouble in the west, but their ships could make it to Tyr, and you could still have that sort of final thing where Matt is there, Matt blows the horn, Rand gets Kalendor. All of that could still happen in one place, as opposed to, some of it in Falma and then later in Tyr. I know that's crazy, but that's how I see it possibly working. The problem is I don't want to just see Rand and the Aiel and Tyr. I want to see Matt there. I want to see the girls there with the Black Aja. Like, to me, they all have to be there in that moment. And it would be really disappointing if they're separated in that moment. I don't mind if they're not all together in Falma, though.
I just saw Nablus' comment.
What did he say?
Nablus, thanks for the tip. Nablus said, Lauren and John's beard game is on point. Matt, your beard sucks. Maybe sometime between now and season 2, I'll grow a beard just for you, Nablus. It'll be no, I won't. I don't know that I'll do that. But thank you very much, Nablus. So that is an interesting question. I think they can do. I don't think you can go the other way. I don't think you can go Tyr then Falma, but I think you could go Falma then Tyr. We did see that kind of. We're not sure if that summary from Amazon or not is legit. As in, I haven't personally seen it on Amazon's page, but they gave a summary of things, and it suggests that Rand is going to be at Falma at some point. So maybe that we're going to get a Rand plot there that then does kind of fast forward, and the next 4 episodes goes down to Tyr. It's possible. So
it's also possible that skimming or traveling is discovered a little earlier.
True. Yeah, we can. Portal stones are still a thing too. So
portal stones.
Let's jump back into the interview. Let me go to you, Lauren. Was there something of interest that came out of that interview? There's so many kind of things they talked about for 30 minutes. What stood out to you that we haven't discussed yet?
There were 2 things. So he talked about the story beats from season 2 and 3, but then he also said for Rand, you'll see a ton of characters and beats from books 2 and 3, but his headspace is a little different, reflecting his age in the show. Now, this is paraphrased a little bit, maybe from a Reddit post that I saw, but I immediately thought, is Rand going to hook up with Selene? Interesting.
Yeah.
That could happen.
That is all of a sudden.
That's funny that you went there immediately.
I did. Because didn't we all?
It's not as funny
that?
if I went there immediately, but it is funny that Lauren did. But the reason why I think you did go there was he used this word. He goes, Rand is how does this man react to this event? And he made like a really specific point, like Rand's a man. And
a boy,
obviously in The Great Hunt, you have that moment where Selene kind of comes on to him, and there's this really awkward, like almost creepiness of the way it comes.
You can almost hear the moment he becomes a man.
But see, honestly, you have this idea of, is he trying to say it's going to be a bit more basically when he's aging up is the relationships, or maybe something with Selene and Rand will be more adult, if you will, than we see in the books.
It makes sense to me. The other thing that stood out though is it's a little thing, but he kind of apologized for the 90 fake out death thing at the end of season 1. And I appreciated that because of all the things from that episode, that was the scene that most kind of I disliked, I guess. And so to hear him say, look, we kind of dropped the ball on that, or we kind of missed the mark. I appreciate that.
I think he said it wasn't as explained as well as he wanted it to be or something. And
and he kind of
misinterpreted it, I think,
Yeah, he kind of blames the crew, but he also kind of blames himself. Like, I just appreciate that kind of humility in a situation like this.
Yeah, I have the quote. He said, it's very important to the mythology of how channeling works in this world that death cannot be healed. I think it was something that was misread. Bad on us, too, for not making it more clear to book fans that was not what was happening. Which I thought was funny, because clearly all the book fans like, what the hell?
Yeah.
was a reverberation to the team of like, wow, like they're all, because I haven't heard any book fan that was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. I totally understand what you're
saying. I've heard I think I paused it at that point and went.
Well, but so what does that mean for non-book fans? Because to them, they were like, oh, she died and she brought her back to life. End of story. Well,
every non-book fan that I've talked to about the first season, and I've specifically asked about the magic system, they're all like, it's magic. They do magic things. And that's the response that most non-book readers watching the show. It's just magic. They do magic things. It's fine. Because they don't, it's a hard magic system with a lot of rules and stuff. And we all get it because we've read
Yeah.
the books and whatnot. And I think Rafe also mentioned that he's going to keep the metaphysics somewhat the same.
Yeah.
So that's good for the book readers. But I mean, realistically, for non-book readers, it wouldn't matter because they don't know any better. And magic is magic-y. It does magic-y things.
Yeah,
So
that actually
Magic
gives me
magic.
hope. That gives me hope because to me, what that means is there's going to be a line at some point where it's going to be like, oh, Nynaeve was on the edge of death or something, or death can't be healed. Everyone knows that. That I appreciate the fact because doesn't he also kind of say they're going to fix that in season 2 or something?
Well, oh no. So yeah, let's talk about these. He has like a ton of quotes right around here. There's like 3 more quotes that are really, really interesting. So let's speaking about this idea that death cannot be healed. What we saw Egwene and happened with Egwene and Nynaeve in that final scene. That a lot of us book fans were like, it looks like you made her look like she's burnt out. Egwene can't even like channel to heal at this point, and you're making it so she healed some really serious like this. But did she die? Did she not die? This is all strange. He said this: the original script had Egwene using what she learned as a wisdom in the first episode to help resuscitate Nynaeve there at the end. So that had that circular nature to it. Sadly, because of COVID, we couldn't do that, so we needed to go to channeling instead.
Yeah, and weren't there some deleted scenes or some shots of Nynaeve and Egwene in what looked like Nynaeve's home?
Yeah,
it was like an herb shop or something.
Yeah, I don't get what I don't understand the answer, the end of this answer. What I do like about this answer is that at least they were going down the route of resuscitation. Although if you look at resuscitate means dead-ish because you're resuscitating the person. Anyways,
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to belabor that point, but yeah, like to help resuscitate Nynaeve there, and they were going to use a different methodology when they went to channeling route. That's a disappointment. I hate blaming COVID on too much. He did say at the beginning, COVID is of the dark one. And he mentioned this, which I think it sounds like COVID is still an issue. And that is to mean, he said COVID's still a thorn in their side, like it is for any production. He said our lives are a logistical nightmare, but we're working through it. And that that it's at least everyone's healthy. And that's the important thing. And he said it lets you stretch a whole bunch of skills you never knew you would need basically as a showrunner.
Well,
so
my thought on that is when he said resuscitate, I immediately went to CPR, maybe something like that. And that would make sense during that time frame when they filmed that they're like, no, you will not do that. I mean, because there's a bunch of rules and stuff. I mean, maybe they could have shot it a certain way or whatever, but maybe they just couldn't,
couldn't build a prosthetic Nynaeve. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Well, and
no mouth touching, no touching of mouths.
Also, there's that moment in the first episode where Rand looks down at what appears to be a pretty well healed scar on Egwene's arm, and like they never show any sort of healing or anything take place there. Yeah. I wonder if there was a moment when Egwene was being treated by Nynaeve and sort of being trained. But potentially too, that old man that dies during the Winter Night attack, maybe they actually try to resuscitate him in an original version or something. There's like a lot of things that could have happened that they cut out because they couldn't make it work in the finale.
Yeah, and I totally get that. And almost 300 vote on this one. Tyr and Falma in season 2, by the way, 74% believe. Look at you believers out there. You believe there's going to be more changes, basically, than we saw between season 1 and the books that it covered. And you believe you're going to get Tyr and Falma. I love the hope in both of those. Kind of that like girding my loins and give me more. I love it. Yeah. So that was a really interesting part. Again, it would be really, to get Rafe right on any of our channels and talk about kind of the changes. Like what were the COVID specific things that they've
good luck you
had to
two.
work around.
That won't happen with me.
So, but no, this is that question that he answered, I think is a really good one to throw in here.
Yeah.
I think this is another one that we dealt with, and I think this is a fun one to bring up. He said, we have not changed the rule about bringing people back from the dead. You cannot do it in our world. We reinforced that in season 2 for anyone who had been led astray in season 1.
So that quote there, that goes through with the rumor, and we'll call it a rumor, of certain deaths in season 2. So I'm wondering if maybe we actually do see those deaths that have been rumored, and someone tries to resuscitate them or revive them, and that's how they explain that away. That's how they explain it to the fans.
Yeah. So that's it. So this is a good question. What's your say your theory again, John? Because I want to hear it. I have a theory on this one, what you might be talking about, but mine's just like specific to the book of the ending of The Dragon Reborn. What is your idea here?
Well, we've heard the rumor that and I think it was started by me.
we've heard the rumor that you fed us.
We've heard the rumor that I started. I was told by someone, this was a long time ago. This was prior to even the show come out. That during season 2, there was plans for certain characters that would survive the last battle in the books to die during season 2, mainly because it makes total sense to try to prune down the number of main characters if their plot points and their beats and their storylines later on aren't too central. I mean, they have to. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to keep all of them in. So I'm wondering if some of these characters in season 2 that maybe are bigger characters or have had lines and whatnot, they die, and that happens where they try to resuscitate one of them, whoever this character or these characters may be. It would make a lot of sense because there were those unfortunate fake out deaths at the end of the first season that were explained within, I think, 12 hours of the episode airing. So they weren't really, you know what I mean? Like they weren't really a cliffhanger, but they were. And it was, and I think, I can't remember the quote Rafe said, but he said it was in preparation for prepping the fans for something further down the road. And it was sort of a joke, but I don't think it was totally a joke. Do you know what I mean? So I really do think there's a lot of credence to that happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's have
you did such a good job. Can I just say, you beat around the bush so well just now, John, of not specifically saying who while saying someone's going to die.
But let's throw this out there. I want to ask this poll to everybody here. You know, let's say a character. You said Rafe said we reinforced that in season 2 for anyone who had been led astray in season 1. It doesn't take more than one instance of this. I think the little girl. Don't we see that? Is that the beginning of the Shadow Rising?
Yeah.
Or
that's the beginning of the Shadow
fourth
Rising, book.
Right?
Yeah. During the
beginning of Shadow Rising, you have the little girl. So which character? Let's come up with 4 characters and poll our audience here that are captivated by these answers from Rafe. Which character will someone try to bring back from the dead by channeling? And we'll say the little girl.
Well, first of all, I have no inside info, but to me, I would hate if this happened, but I could see maybe like Swan, for example, because she's such a big actress. And I don't know that she's going to commit to 8 seasons of a show where she shows up one episode every.
Are you throwing Swan like dying? I guess.
Look, I have the opinion that the Tower coup is probably going to happen a little earlier. And
Lauren said it. I didn't. for everyone watching, Lauren said it.
To me, she makes the most sense because of the actress, or the high-profile actress, not because I want that to happen or because I think Rafe even wants to kill her off. It just makes sense to me from like kind of a, production point of view.
By the way, seeing people like that they want to die in chat, I always like, please kill off Gawain and more gays. Come on, Lauren.
Can we just kill Fael? Just kill Fael before she even shows up.
Okay, I see like Uno, for example, and Ingtar. You could potentially go.
That's Ingtar. We know is an actual death, so like that is a possibility. Redeem himself, and they feel bad, and
right. There's an attempt to kind of bring him back, kind of thing.
Good point. Ingtar.
So, would you say? So, who are our top characters? Those of you in chat, we need some help here to kind of figure these out. Who in season 2 would they try to use? Would Rafe might try to reinforce this idea you can't bring somebody back from the dead? I think is an interesting one. Would you take Uno or Ingtar in that poll? In other words, if you had to pick one of those, who would you throw in that poll?
Ingtar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do Ingtar. We'll do. Oh yes, let's get rid of Fael. Geesh. Watching people like. Who do we want to see them try to bring back from the dead and not be successful? Wow. Damn, everybody.
Watch their animated corpse dance around for a bit.
Tom.
Twitch. That's terrible.
Wow. I'm seeing some Toms out there. Okay. Let's.
Tom hasn't even hardly been introduced enough to be killed.
Okay, so which character will someone try to? We're going to just give 4 options here and move on from this one. The little girl. Everyone, if you don't know what we're talking about because you've never read the books, vote.
Why are you here? Yeah.
Don't listen to
Terrible.
Lauren. You can be here.
You can be here.
She's
Welcome
Lauren.
here. Sorry, the inn is open to everyone.
All I see is Tom. I see Little Girl, Swan, Ingtar, and Tom. Is that even a good list? Are we okay with that?
Yeah, Tom, I just don't believe it. But
So give me somebody else for Tom.
Perrin, someone said.
Man.
Well, it could be someone like Liana or Serath.
Okay. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do Little Girl, Swan, Ingtar, and Liana. Those are the options. I don't think those were great options, everybody.
The assumption to
But
me
we're
would
going
be
with
that it would be someone close to Egwene or Nynaeve because of the experience that
They'd
happened
feel
at the end of
strongly.
season 1.
Yeah, they would feel strongly.
So, and there's this last quote in the same section that I think is worth discussing. He said, they were talking about kind of like just basically like overpowering demonstrations of the one power, like killing this Trolloc army at the beginning. And how is Rafe going to keep on like bettering that or going bigger? And Rafe, as part of that discussion, said, yes, they have done something incredible in fighting back this Trolloc army, but there are very real costs to accessing that much power. And that's something that the characters will struggle with all the way through the series. Really interesting, real cost to accessing that much power. Does that key you into anything, Lauren or John? Like this idea that this cost will go on to the entire series of that event that happened. Yeah, go for it.
So I think this goes with something else. Like he mentioned something else. I can't remember the quote exactly, but a power creep and how the books kept one up each other. And the show will do that too. I think those two quotes go hand in hand, but I can't remember exactly what it was. With this quote where they're saying that there's very real cost to it, it makes me feel like they will be more careful in accessing the power and tone themselves down, which is completely opposite to their characters in the books, where I think Egwene basically just forced herself throughout the whole series to reach more and do better and practice on her own and pull more power in.
They keep leveling up.
Yeah, but this almost makes it seem like they're going to become timid in accessing the power, and that solves the power creep. So instead of them being like this, Nynaeve's massive explosions of power, or potentially this is where her block comes from, because she died half burned out, level 4 burned out, or whatever.
Didn't die.
She wakes up, she's horrified. I used that much power. It scared me. Maybe that's her block now.
And I get that, but that's only for Nynaeve. So I think you're right. I think the block makes the most sense for Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Egwene, that's an interesting point. Like, perhaps this is, maybe Egwene. Maybe this has to do with Egwene and the Seanchan also somehow. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of how this might affect Egwene for the entire series. And like you're saying, maybe this holds them back a bit, perhaps. So,
I personally love the theory that this is kind of the start of Nynaeve's block, that she didn't actually have it at first. There was that scene in the finale too, or I think it was the finale, where Nynaeve and Egwene are talking, and Nynaeve's like, I can't listen to the wind anymore.
Yeah, right.
And I think her block is already starting. She's already starting to limit herself. I also I've heard some people talk about that ending. Amalisa, is that her name? Amalisa? Yeah. She went into that fight thinking she had a couple pistols. And then Nynaeve and Egwene show up, and suddenly she's like, we have a couple nukes, right? She was so taken aback by the amount of power that she experienced. Yeah. And, Nynaeve in particular is going to be experiencing other moments of being linked. And I know some people are kind of upset that, well, in the books, there's a buffer with the link and you can't burn out during a link. I actually think that minimizes the stakes of it. And I think it's more interesting if you're in a situation where you've given up control and now someone who could potentially OD on the one power has your life in their hands. I think that makes it a lot more interesting, frankly. I think removing the buffer was a good idea.
Upping the stakes there, that just makes sense for them to do.
Right.
Changing the canon a bit about linking, but making it more of a dangerous act.
Right. So I think this is going to make Egwene and Nynaeve be like, I want to use all this power, but remember that experience we had? Like, we have to hold back. We will burn out. We will kill ourselves. And so
possible, yeah.
I feel like that's what they're going for there. Now, you could argue that they didn't do the best job. Maybe they overdid it. I mean, I'm still of the opinion that Rand should have shown up and helped, or in some way.
Yeah.
But I think what they were trying to say is there are deadly costs to overusing the one power, and people who are not properly trained are seriously in danger. Amelisa basically, you know, she'd had a few Tylenol in her life, and now she's like got like OD'd on heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't even realize that the one power was this massive thing. And
I
so
also do like the idea that
killed
people have
herself.
said this, Lauren, where they've said that maybe this is just them not understanding how to link properly. In other words, they might learn
Yeah.
that there is a way to protect themselves, and then that might even also affect them of like, we didn't need to almost have died if we had just learned, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
maybe it does kind of set the stakes with the White Tower and other Aes Sedai where they're like, and so that could lead, I think I like both of those, or connecting both of those ideas. I'm going to end this poll. About 300 of you voted on this. Which character will someone try to bring back from death by channeling? The little girl, I like how Tyrion said in chat, little girl equals other in this poll. Yeah, I get it. Little girl is 48% of the vote. Swan is 30% of the vote. Ingtar 17%, and Lyanna 5%. I think it's a great question, a great theory for everyone to have out there, which is come up with a really, you know, interesting theory about what Rafe's plans are here, to that quote of trying to reinforce this idea that you can't bring somebody back from the death. And maybe it is that little girl. They'll just bring that straight from the books into the
And
show.
I think
that would make sense.
I think the big thing about season 2 and beyond is in season 1, there's a whole lot of, they will never do that. That's not here anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically, as far as I'm concerned, everything's on the table. I mean, they could do everything because they've opened themselves up and they've already set that stage for the first season. And the people that don't like it or didn't enjoy the changes, or did, you know, they're, I don't want to say purists, but you know what I mean? They will become less and less vocal as the series goes on, because the changes will continue and they just may stop watching. So I think they're opening themselves up to maybe even changing more. And I'm not talking like they're going to have, you know, trucks and cars and tanks and Deadpool showing up or whatever, but like
Portalstone world, maybe.
Yeah,
they are. Yeah, like you said, I think we'll be less surprised when there's changes next time. That's for sure. I agree. Tam loves cats. Said, yeah, it's all on the table. Let me move on to this next quote, because I know we want to get to some of these other topics tonight. But this one, I thought, dealing with Moiraine, Helen asked Rafe about that relationship, and also about that the shielding or not. And Rafe was coy enough to say this. At least this puts to rest some of those, like, Rafe didn't say no to someone who, I can't think, it was, it might have been Megan or Amy, Megan O'Keefe or Amy Ratcliffe that asked. But I thought it was a question to Rafe about whether or not Moiraine had been stilled, and he didn't say no, and he just kind of kept answering. This one definitively says, I won't say anything about what's happened to Moiraine because it's something that functions in a big way in season 2 for us. It will be something also that I think book fans will be really paying attention to, because it's not a story that exists in the books. And so what are we going to do with it, and how does it play out? I think it will be something people will be paying real close attention to in future seasons. Future seasons is what he said.
Future seasons.
Yeah, in future seasons, and how it plays out. What we're going to do and how does it play out, and we'll pay close attention to in future seasons of what's happened to Moiraine, which I don't even know how to interpret that one yet, other than I like how he said here, book fans will be paying really close attention because it doesn't exist in the books.
Yeah. You know how in TV shows,
like, does that even work in the, like, that's what we'll all be asking ourselves, like, did they make something up that works, basically?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah.
Well, you know how in TV shows they're like, hey, that person's not dead unless we see a body. You know, like, I think we've already seen instances of that in the show, like Tom, for example. And so I think you could say the same thing, like, that person isn't stilled until it's confirmed. Like, they could have a shield tied off or something else. It could be a completely different thing. I like the idea that you just don't really know. Is stilling really the end? Is gentling really the end? We don't know. I mean, I know that my friend who knows nothing about the books but has really fallen in love with the show, her favorite character is Logain. And she's like, oh, I hope Logain's in the show more. And I'm like, well, I've read the books. I don't know how much he's going to be a part of it for a while. But if there's this question that maybe he isn't actually gentled, maybe he could get his power back. That could be interesting. I don't know.
I totally do not believe there's any stilling going on here. Does either of you believe that there's anything but shielding that we're seeing with Moiraine?
It's shielding. It's 100. I'll eat my shirt if it's not a shield. Let's put it that way. Like,
I was
that's how
literally-
confident I am.
There's those scenes. Okay, so this is book 6 spoilers. So anyone who has
book 6. No, we're not going book 6, man. Book 4.
well, I just there's okay. I'll be vague. There's a character who threatens some
be
Aes
vague.
Sedai.
Be really vague.
There's a character who threatens some Aes Sedai that they'll be shielded with it tied off, and they'll never be able to touch the true source again.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes.
So
Yeah.
so I like that kind of open-ended. Like, am I stilled or am I shielded? I don't know. You know.
I'm going to ask everybody, are you worried about the story that Rafe is creating for Moraine that is not found in the books? Are you worried about it? We'll see how. Well, it's anonymous voting here, everybody. I'm kind of curious. Are you worried about? Did I say that right? Are you worried about the story that Rafe is creating for Moraine that is not found in the books for season 2? It is interesting because they talked a little bit more about Moraine and Swan, and Helen thankfully did ask a geeky question about like the ter'angreal, and he didn't give an answer, although he did say this. He used the phrase secret space. In other words, that the ter'angreal are a way that they would have a secret space together. So that does suggest to me that it definitely is not in the real world, because the space, it would be hard for that space to be secret, I think, if it was real world based. It doesn't answer all of our kind of metaphysics questions about it, but he did give us secret space, which I think does at least kind of raise us all up into it's something.
It's a vacuole, and it's going to break off, and they'll never be seen again.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think in that quote too, he did mention Sarah. Sarah was very intrinsic to helping create.
Yes.
And she was, I can't remember. I'm terrible memory. I'm too old. But he did mention that Sarah was integral in that scene and what was going on. So I'm sure things were done properly, and there's an answer and stuff, and it'll probably be explained later, is my guess. But man, I wish they explained it then.
Well, yeah, no, and yeah, he said, like you said, they sat down and talked about the ter'angreal, how they would have functioned. So to me, it's one of the many theories we've all talked about, which is some related space to the testing ter'angreal of some sort, a vacuole, or some other function. Basically, you don't even have to come up with an answer. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those parts of metaphysics in the Wheel of Time where you can just be like, a secret space. ter'angreal create a secret space, and we can work it into something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't actually need to just. Then when you try to explain it, then that's.
I mean, there's plenty of stuff in the books that are not explained at all that are neat, like the Mercedes-Benz emblem, things like that. Like, and I don't think that's a spoiler. I hope not. Anyway, but like, there's all kinds of little things that aren't explained that you read and you're going, oh, so it would make sense that it's in the show too.
Yeah. And I'll remind everybody, not because of John just now, but yeah, let's try in chat to keep spoilers not past book 4. People that have been sitting around and here, they might be reading the books, and we've asked to at least keep it book 4 and no further. So I see admins asking people, so it looks like people are not respecting that. So please do respect it. I did see a lot of people that wanted on this poll. This always happens. Everyone wants like a little bit. They want like 4 options where the nuance of their answer fits. And they're like worried how, like in the end of the day, does it worry you when new storylines come in? Or at this point, do you just kind of going with it and trusting the system that you've already seen in season 1? It looks like about 70% of you are not worried, whatever the worry means for you. And about 30% of you are. I did laugh. Somebody said, it looks like 68% of you at the time don't care anymore. And that's really dramatic.
You just don't care anymore.
You know, someone made a good point. Someone made a good point. They said it depends on how much of that new stuff takes away from the stuff we want. And that was one of the complaints in season 1, is that I personally liked the Steppen storyline, but some people were concerned that there was just too much of it. Like, it took away from some of the other things we would have preferred to see from book 1. So, and that's kind of personal preference, right? But that's kind of how I feel. It's like, as long as they can also include the stuff I want, then I'm fine with new stuff. You know.
So to me, it's
as long
not
as I
even
get what I want, I don't care what else I get. Is what you're saying.
To me, it's not even stuff I want. So if they introduce, say, let's for argument's sake, they introduce 2 episodes of new stuff, and they explain it badly. It's cut badly. There's things missing, edited badly, pacing's bad, and that affects the rest of the season's pacing and editing because they are on a time crunch. They can only do 8 episodes. They have to be under an hour. That's my concern. So
Sure.
we've seen that in the first season, and it wasn't nothing to do with the Stefan storyline. It was just the whole start to finish. You could tell. And that was my biggest complaint and my biggest critique. And the reason why I think I overall rated the entire season 6.5 out of 10 was there was too much cut. Things were mashed together in a way, edited in a way that sometimes either didn't make sense or left you with a lot of questions.
Sure.
And the pacing felt wonky. So I hope as things go on, that gets better. But my thoughts are it'll only get better if they're either given more time or they cut more. So not adding more, but cut more or amalgamate more. It doesn't matter if it's changed or not, as long as it's shortened in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, my
let me-
personal opinion is they relied a little too heavily on trivia and outside material to explain.
I
things.
hated that. I do not want to turn on X-ray to watch season 2. Period.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
a
but I have to
massive
say-
complaint.
But I have to
Massive
say, book 1 didn't answer all of our questions. It just
No, it did
posed
not,
a
no.
lot. And so we have
Yeah.
to kind of see where they're going. I feel like
Yeah.
just like episode 8 to me is better in retrospect as you watch the entire season. Like it feels like it fits within the season. Rafe talking about that circular episode 1 and episode 8 sort of being circular and referencing each other. There is so much of that. I plan on making a video about this where episode 1 really does mirror episode 8 in a lot of story beats and a lot of things. And so that was very much intentional. And I have to say that I think season 1 as a whole is going to feel a little bit like a mirror of the final season to some degree. And
Yeah,
so
my-
I think
that's my
there's a
guess.
big
It has to be that they're
plan.
planning for that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let me end this poll here. Over 300 of you voted on this. Are you worried about the story that Rafe is creating for Moraine that is not found in the books? Like he said, I mean, he's very cognizant. He's like, a lot of the fans are going to be watching this one, paying close attention to this one in particular because it's something that doesn't exist in the books. 69% of you said no. 31% of you said yes. Yeah. I want to bring this up. Yes, it's a bit self-serving, so I'll admit to that immediately. But a lot of you know my son, Taylor, and he just jumped in and did an episode of Barside Chats. It's something that my friend Brian and I do, Wheel of Time Barside Chats podcast. Taylor, my son, who produces the show here, has never read the books. And I love Brian's intro here. He breaks down episode 1. Also, is he secretly a book cloak? Tune in to find out. Taylor breaks down episode 1 on how he looks at it, right, from a filmmaking perspective and from a non-reader perspective. So, if you want to see, I'll put the link in chat here for those of you that are in chat. If you want to go listen to Taylor kind of break this down, I think you'll actually really enjoy this because he does speak to some of the maybe some of the concerns you had. And there's a really, really funny moment when we ask him the question of how does he think they should have changed things to improve them. And I think that's about halfway through. And I think you will, you'll like that part. Awesome. That's all I'll say. I don't want to ruin it for you. It's fun to just run into the moment when he gives his ideas. So yeah, please do check that out. Like I said, it's really an interesting take of a non-reader, but someone that's been around us. He's heard things. So he like knows a thing here, knows a thing there, but doesn't know very much at all. So yeah,
that's fun. That sounds great. I'm going to definitely check that out.
It's a yeah. Brian said, "Is Taylor a book cloak?" And Dana Lou just said, "A book cloak who has never read the books."
Oh, the worst kind.
And the worst kind.
It's like the White Cloaks who never read the White Cloak Mission or whatever.
And Hiltrud just said, "Why not on YouTube?" We'll try. I'll talk to Brian. For those of you that don't want to go listen to a podcast but would like listen to it on YouTube, if there's a way, we might throw that episode up. But I do want to go to that episode 8. This is going back to the interview again. This is something that Rafe said that I think was really interesting. Helen asked him about the Age of Legends cold open, and they were just kind of riffing on the cold open. They were like, she's like, yeah, it's really cool to show the sci-fi part of this and how people that had read the books had forgotten about some of that. And like, that's actually from the books. But he said this about the cold open itself. He said, if people think there was anything misspoken in that scene, there was not.
Right. This idea that
if
they
think,
misspoke is so silly. Like the show is written. There's a whole committee of people making decisions.
But if people think
every line of dialogue is decided.
What what comes to mind then? What do you think that he's saying? If people think there was anything misspoken in the cold open of episode 8, the Age of Legends scene, he said there was not. What do you imagine, Lauren, that he might be talking about?
Well, I think he's specifically talking about the Dragon Reborn. The fact that he's called the Dragon Reborn.
People were so salty about that. They were so salty.
People are salty about it, and I understand.
I'm kind of salty about it.
Yeah, well, but you have to understand, this show is not made for us. This is made for like my mom who does a crossword puzzle while she watches. You know what I mean? Like we have to understand, and this is something that Ali and Gus from the Wheel Takes podcast talk about. And by the way, not to take away from your awesome promo of your podcast, but if you want some really great in-depth analysis of
Wheel
the
Takes
episodes
podcast
from people who understand how movies and television shows are produced, and from people who have, in my opinion, really great level-headed opinions about this stuff, go and check out Ali and Gus's podcast.
We lost Matt.
I'm back.
Oh, what did you say?
I was saying, Taylor, Lauren doesn't think you're level-headed.
I didn't say that. But in all seriousness, they talk about this a lot, and they're really worth a listen. But they talk about this idea that there are so many things that go into deciding how things are done for a show. And when a television show, especially a first season, is written, it's written for an old mom who does crossword puzzles on the couch while she's watching, who's like, "Who's that guy again?" And it's Rand, or "Who's that lady?" And it's Moraine.
What's interesting is you think that they were. So that's interesting take. I didn't read it like that. I read it like it's an in-world explanation, not it's an outworld. I took this to mean if people think there was anything misspoken in that scene, there was not. Not to be like we were trying to help the moms on their couch understand who this was. I thought they were actually going to maybe approach this like, for example, what if they showed what is it called? What if they showed like a previous turning? Or they showed like a first age. They took us back to the first age and showed us a dragon at the end of the first age. In other words, what if they had something that led us to kind of go like, there's never a first dragon. In other words, I wondered if they changed maybe some of the canon, if you will, or some of our understanding of the canon to, that's one of the options. That doesn't mean it's the only one. For example, Latra as the Tamarillan, you know, maybe they're building some of that into like, that's not a mistake, even though a lot of fans were like, no, that's not true. You know, maybe that's something they've built into their story, this world in which Latra was, and that goes into some of the stories with the Forsaken that we meet in the future. So those are the two that I caught. Were there any ones that, is there anything else there you think that might have been where he was trying to call that out specifically to book fans of like, that wasn't a mistake?
I think there was a lot of people were upset over the fact that the way and these are book purists, I'll say, the way the show was, or the way that scene was framed, where it was not desperation, it was not frustration, it was, this is what I'm going to do, very level-headed conversation, you're not going to help me, I'm going to do it anyway, even though you've already told me the consequences, like arrogance. I think that is completely intentional, and some people are like, well, it was a mistake or whatever. No, I think that was intentional, and I think that'll just double down. They'll just double down on that is a big part of. Now, I'm even wondering, and I can't say because we can't go beyond book 4.
Yeah,
so
go beyond book 4.
the certain person that perhaps caused the Dark One to be released. Maybe it's not that person in the show. Maybe it's somebody different because of the way they're framing this.
That'd be a dumb
I can't
idea.
dance around it anymore than that. Well, you know what I mean?
I want to say the thing to me that stood out from that scene, calling him Dragon Reborn was a little odd to me. I was like, why not just call him the Dragon? Especially because Moraine in the cold open of the very first episode at the very beginning says, and him they named Dragon, as if that was the first time he was called the Dragon. So it felt like a little bit like they were taking that back, but what does Moraine know? Anyway, my point is the thing that bothered me.
Unreliable narrator.
Right. Yeah. The thing that bothered me the most of that was when she tells him exactly what's going to happen. If you do that, it's probably going to taint the one power. Like they didn't know. Like that was actually the thing that bothered me because they didn't know what the consequence would be. They thought that their plan would work. Period. They didn't go like, oh, this could be bad for us. You know what I mean? That actually bothered me more than. And so, but what excites me is they're probably going to have more Age of Legends scenes. We're probably going to get more. Yeah. Like people who are book cloaks complain about this. Latra literally is not in the books. once. She's in the Strike at Shia Ghul, and that's it. So I don't know why people are like, oh, this is not in the books. Like, of course not, but we're going to get more Age of Legends. I would love the idea of getting more Forsaken intros, more intrigue. This is two friends conversing about what they're doing before more, Lews Therin gathers the 100 companions and all these other things that eventually happen. Like, to me, this is one of many scenes that build up to the eventual strike at Shia Ghul. And so that's exciting to me that we'll get more.
So, okay. Those were kind of the things that stood out to me. I'm going to look through that post that from Uno's eye patch. Were there any other ones for you two that we didn't speak about before we move on to some other things that you thought were interesting from the discussion that Helen had with Rafe on that Empire Spoilers podcast that all of you should go check out? Seriously.
I'm trying to think.
Well, they had that 250-page doc from Amazon, which was interesting. If you didn't hear about that, like the Amazon.
I think we mentioned that. We mentioned that earlier on. I think Lauren mentioned that actually.
Did he mention that? Earlier. That document I thought was interesting because it was fans like that had reread the books, fans that kind of read halfway through, and then fans that kind of stopped pretty early. It's an interesting thing for them to try to use to connect with a large, kind of a wide, I guess, group of fans, if you will, and not just fans that uber love the books themselves. I thought that was interesting. Right. Didn't really talk about Perrin too much. There was a little bit there. I didn't take that. This is an important one, I think. They did talk about the relationship between Moiraine and Siuan, and I think he said, because Helen asked about, like, it seemed like this was kind of like marriage vows between them when she was swearing on the oath rod. He said sees something, it's something akin to a marriage bond, a bond of trust. It does continue to play out with Moiraine and Siuan. We'll see what happens next. Something to that effect. That's not the exact quote, but basically this idea that it's akin to a marriage bond, but it's a bond of trust, if you will. And it does obviously have repercussions, which just makes sense, which makes sense. And did either of you find anything else that you think is really interesting to bring up?
You said they didn't say much about Perrin, but there was one little comment that he said something to the effect of, we were surprised that there wasn't as much pushback on the whole Perrin being married thing. And
that's what Helen mentioned, that Helen didn't believe that she had seen as much pushback as that maybe she thought there would be. I felt like there was a lot.
I do too, but I also feel like we were prepared for that one for like a year.
Yeah,
that helped.
A lot of people knew for a very long time, and it just kind of became, even without any official talk, it became, everybody knew. The core fandom, the people who would be the most upset, I should say not everybody, but the people who would be most upset already knew. So when it happened, there was a buffer there. So myself personally, I wasn't upset that he was married. I was upset he killed his wife. Because to me, that destroys Perrin's character completely. I don't know. Can you imagine if he killed Faile? What would happen? Yeah, he wouldn't come back from that. He would just curl up in a ball and die. He'd be in a corner somewhere. But maybe again, they're going to discuss why their marriage was perfect, and I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's. I mean, I think it's definitely worth going back for those of you that have not listened to it. You should go. I know a lot of you were waiting for a transcript of it to make its way out because it's behind a paywall. Again, it was I didn't think it was very expensive. I swear it was whatever it was, like €3 or something. Yes, and Jessica said, great panel. Can't wait to hear all about Wheel of Time Idol. So we can come back to this, but let's jump to Wheel of Time Idol. If you have no idea, Lauren made an awesome intro for this. So let's play it for everybody. And then let's talk about this with the fans. Wheel of Time Idol's back, everybody, for season 2.
Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back?
It's here. Oh, man.
Now
it's so awesome to see. I love this part of it, seeing the faces that you put. There's Jessica's face right there. That was great. There's Lesbian Nerdy. You can see a bunch of the the fans. Those were literally like, Lauren, you're awesome, man. There's Marcel. Oh my gosh, Andrew there. Who else do I see and recognize? But yeah, I love how all of the people that participated, or many of them, are put in the circle here. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, I will go try to find us a fun one to remind us of it. But yeah, maybe speak to everybody about the competition coming up. And I guess I can throw this up first, and we can talk about what the rules are to help people be able to do this. And so I'm going to throw this up there. There's a form that make sure the link is in the description. We can drop it in chat here. But the Watt Song Parody Challenge of 2022, some of the important rules here: the lyrics must be original. Don't use samples of copyrighted original lyrics or original artist vocals. That's an important one, obviously, because we're judging you on how well you come up with new lyrics. So you got to change them. But you can go out and find a karaoke track. That's basically what everybody did.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, played their own instruments, but you don't have
That's
to.
true.
You
Yeah.
know,
I think for my sample one I did last year, I got my brother's band to play, and then there were a lot of people playing their own instruments. Other people got bands and stuff to play. It was crazy bigger than I thought it would be last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
for
much
sure.
fun. And maybe let's, I'm seeing requests. We can do this. Everyone wants to see the winner of last year. Let's play that one.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Yay.
most people here already know what this is, but we got together last year before the show came out, and we started doing these Watt challenges. And the first one we did was a meme challenge. This was like a Watt meme off, and it was so much fun. We had such a blast doing it.
Yeah.
And then, Matt, you've had some experience doing song parodies, Wheel of Time song parodies and stuff at cons.
I did.
And so
yeah,
we
yeah.
decided to make that our second challenge, and we were blown away, right? We were blown away by the submissions. Every single submission was amazing. And some people just like went way out of their comfort zone, but it was so worth it. And it was so hard to decide which of these song parodies were the best, because there were almost 40 submitted, I think, and they were all just phenomenal. And so we ended up doing 2 events, right? We did 2 nights because we had so many submissions.
I fell asleep during the second one, I think. It went so late. It just went
It
so
did
late.
go very late for you, especially.
Yeah.
But it was just such a great experience to see everyone's work, to see everyone supporting each other in the chat, and then to vote. And I can't say that it could have gone any better. Like, it was just
awesome.
a great experience. So we just want that times 2, right? We just want to get like the best song parodies we can. And so we're really excited about this. Let me
point this out. You don't have to have a ton of talent. I'll show you somebody that does not. This is me. This is me doing this. Not talented at all, but let me play this for you. I'll play a little bit of riff on this. This is a creep.
But I'm all free.
See? No talent there. But you can still go out there and sing this.
I'm a theory lander. What the hell am I doing here? Do I belong here?
Okay, spoiler. I don't want to ruin that one for you. there's a book 5 spoiler there. So that is what I would say. Like, that should encourage all of you to be able to do this, because you can just write lyrics to any song out there and karaoke it. Now, this was the winner of the contest, and this one is amazing. And I think we just play this because this is awesome to go back and see. I love this song.
This is book 1 spoilers.
Yeah, book 1 spoilers. Oh my gosh, this is so great.
Ilyena, I love you. Sorry for the pain I caused that day. It's not that I wanted to, but shot and took my sanity away. Forgive me, I never meant to pity I'm sorry that I ripped our kids in two and killed your favorite servant, Drew. I beat him black and blue. I beat him with my shoe. What would you do if I fire blossomed you? Most your feet with flame and air, pulled out every single hair. What would you say if I smashed your mother's face? Wasn't even in a rage. I just hated that fucking face. La-di-da-di-da-di-da, Elena. La-di-da-da-di-da. Now that Ishmael has cured me of my case of the big mad, I see the foul deeds I've done, and now I'm only left with the big sad. Light shelter me. Why does she look like Billy Zane? Ilyena. Sorry that I ripped our kids in two and killed your favorite servant, Drew. I beat him black and blue. I beat him with my shoe. What would you do if I ruined our decor? Slammed our kids right through the door, broke that vase that you adore. What would you say if I sealed away? Could you forgive me for going cray-cray and fucking the world in a single day? La-di-da-di-da-di-da, Ilyena. La-di-da, la-di-da.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. So I just want to say something. I was watching chat the whole time that was on. There are a lot of people who have never seen that before.
I know.
And,
How that is to experience.
This is what you're in store for this year. All of this.
And we should mention there's a playlist of all of the submissions, right? It's out there.
Yeah.
There's also I released a video that was my top 10 picks that you can see on my channel. But man, they were all. I remember just like tonight, I was laughing and crying so much from enjoying it so much. My face hurt, and just watching that one, I was like, "Oh no, this is going to be a nightmare again. I'm going to be so exhausted at the end of this."
Yeah.
Oh,
in a good way.
Awesome.
I want to say that I want to say there was a playlist for all of them on the Dusty Wheel channel, but I'll find.
There was at one
I think
point.
it
I don't know if
was,
you took it down. It was long. It was very long. But
was it okay? So yeah, that was amazing. I'll even show you this one, Taylor. To this day, this for some reason we just had bad reception, but this was just a fun intro that Taylor did on this one.
God, I remember this.
I'm trying to get us to the intro spot, which is just so good here. Unfortunately, I'm trying not to skip ahead too many. Is it right there? Maybe
Tonight, the power is finally in your hands, Camelin. You vote, you decide. This is the stage where singers become superstars. This is Wheel of Time Idol.
Welcome back to the. So, okay,
Oh,
everybody.
man.
This is. We're trying to get you all hyped because we want you to enter. It doesn't have to be the like. It doesn't have to be Ilyana right there. It can just be like my version of Creep as Freak.
I danced
so
to a
many
Yellow
great
Slicker
ones.
for 3 minutes. Like,
Oh my! Oh,
And
yeah,
you don't have to play your own instruments. You can just sing your own lyrics to some sort of karaoke track. Like we prefer that you submit it in some sort of video form, but it doesn't have to be like a music video. You know, with lots of detail and lots of editing. We just want to have a great time again and
Yeah.
showcase.
it was the
everyone's
highlight
talent.
of it was the highlight of last year, I would say, easily.
Yeah.
It was so
Absolutely.
fun.
And I don't think, honestly, I don't think Lauren Balfe has ever seen these. I need to like send him one and be like, did you ever see that we did this competition? He'd probably like
Yeah.
freak out if he saw this. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, honestly, they're just fun to do. In fact, we've actually had a couple of fans become addicts to creating song parodies.
I
Not to mention,
think one of the submissions last year, they turned it into a whole channel.
yeah,
They-
exactly.
They started
oh my
their own
gosh.
channel on it.
Her
Yeah.
channel,
Yeah,
is amazing.
Alyssa Powers,
Like,
and she's actually on
Yeah.
a podcast that I'm starting. So
yeah,
she's awesome.
Alyssa's awesome. Yeah. So basically, this is how this works, everybody. One submission per songwriter. That is to say, you can't have a songwriter that's doing all the songwriting, and one submission per singer because we can't have Andrel and others sing all the songs for us. You only have to do this for a minimum of 30 seconds, but we do recommend you do it longer than that. It's just going to be, you know, I would suggest in that 1.5 to 2 minute length. That's just going to give people enough time to hear the entire song and be excited about it and vote for yours. There's no max length, but honestly, we're probably going to, if you remember, we did the votes last year, everybody, for the first kind of quarterfinals, semifinal, whatever we did called those things, you might only see like a minute of it. But for the finals, anyone that makes the finals will see the entire clip.
Yeah.
We just don't have time to play like everyone's 5-minute parodies for voting. So
And something I want to mention too is we're not picking the winners. We don't do this. We'll talk about it and we'll judge it and things like that, and we'll pick the people for the quarterfinals and the finals. But you folks, for everybody who's new this year, it doesn't know, you vote. So just like all the polls that Matt's putting up here, you folks get to vote on the winners, so you can see them all and vote yourselves.
exactly.
Yes.
And honestly, we're going to come up with, I think, some better prizes this year than we even had last year.
Virtual date with Lauren, I think, is what we settled on.
Is that what it was? Virtual date with Lauren.
I don't know.
Look at your face.
Well, we want people to enter. We want people to actually get excited. So
Exactly.
That's how.
Yes. So no, and yeah, I think that would be. We're gonna look and see. Like we had like a celebrity guest judge last time. We'll see what we can come up with this time. It'd be fun to get another celebrity guest judge. But honestly, the success of last year was we had at least 400 of you, I think, out with us last year voting. And that was the most difficult. Everyone hated us for making them vote on these. That's how good they were. But we need you to come back. We need you to come back this year and vote on them also. And so think about this. Please do enter and just ask us. We're happy to answer any questions that you continue to have about this. Let me throw this up there again. Videos, you can just send us an audio. It's going to be better if it's a video of some sort. So, and I think you can use your own instruments as you saw, or an existing karaoke track, including lyrics in the description. That's just better if you saw the lyrics go across the screen. It just helps everyone know what you're saying and why the lyrics are so funny. Not that we didn't understand them, but it's just a better thing, especially from an accessibility standpoint, making sure everyone can, if they can't hear it, they can still at least see what it is you're singing. And
Right.
we recommend you submit it as an unlisted. It has to be submitted as an unlisted YouTube video or Vimeo link.
Yeah, this year you have to submit it through this form, which is where these rules are coming from. We created a form just to make it a little easier for us to organize everything on our end. So in order to make it easier, you have to post a link to your song that isn't just like a file that we download. That way we can stream it more easily on YouTube or Vimeo. So even if you don't do a video, you'll have to export your audio track as a video to put on one of those two platforms. So keep that in mind.
This is a great idea that Nablus has thrown out. we might do some kind of in March raise a prize pool and just have a live stream where we just maybe we give away some mugs and raise, you know, just money for this, or give away things and just raise a prize pool that we can split among the winners just for fun amongst us all. So that might be something we decide to do. I know we're gonna encourage others to just submit something or give something for the prize pool itself. If you can't throw in maybe a donation, maybe you want to just add whatever, like a T-shirt or something.
You want advertising for your merch or your channel?
Yeah,
there you go. Easy peasy, right?
Exactly. This is a key important piece, though. Remember, this can't be shared publicly before the show. We are going to show all of these things live in the show for the first time. So this means you cannot just share this link around to everybody, because we don't want you, even if you have, for example, a Discord channel. Well, if you have 1,000 fans in your Discord channel or whatever, you can't share it there because it's going to make its way out and other fans will have already seen it before then. You can show a friend, you can show a family member, but it has to not be publicly accessible or known before we actually debut it on the Dusty Wheel, or you'll just be disqualified. And so don't put all this work in and get disqualified at the end.
And full spoilers. Absolute full spoilers. You can put anything you want in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show or books, it doesn't matter. It can be one or the other or both in full spoilers.
That's right. We will, if you're someone who hasn't read all the books and you don't want to be spoiled, but you want to watch the Song Parody Challenge, we'll have spoiler warnings that night, to keep you safe. But that's absolutely right. Don't be afraid to spoil anything and everything. And if you're not great at editing videos or concerned about how do I include lyrics on the page or whatever, you can always reach out to me. Not that I can edit it for you because I can't, but I can give you pointers. I can help with that sort of thing. So, we're a community who wants to help. So that's nothing. Reach out to other people, collaborate. I'm actually working on a parody myself right now that won't be part of the competition because I ain't no cheater, but I'm really excited to do it. I think I'm going to collaborate with like 10 different people. I'm doing a We Don't Talk About Bruno song parody for the Wheel of Time.
Nice.
Well, thanks for Nablus and Village Mattress. They just contributed to a prize pool that doesn't exist, but apparently does now. So there you go.
Yeah.
You will get at least $60.
There you go.
So this is a lot of fun. We hope you have fun with it. That's our last note for you is please have fun with it.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have to submit it by March 15th. That gives you 5 weeks to put this together. Please do reach out to other fans. You can come over on Discord here at the Dusty Wheel. You can find the link to our Discord channel in the description of this video. You can ask us questions if you're kind of curious. You want some help, again, like Lauren just said, if you want to collaborate with people, there are a lot of people that have participated in this and I think would love to. Some people aren't shy or don't want to sing, but are great songwriters. So, or want to play an instrument or might be willing to kind of, play the instrument instead of the karaoke track. A lot of people can give you some suggestions here. And just have fun with this. This is honestly is probably the highlight. I mean, I know the show came out and everything, but like the amazing talent that you guys came up with, if you go back and watch all of these, basically this is what happened. We played the top 32 and we made people vote them down, if I remember correctly. And everybody got mad at us for 3 hours having to pick through the top 32 because they were that much fun.
They were so mad.
They were so
Everyone
good.
was
They were
so
so good.
mad.
I mean, they were just so much fun that people had a hard time choosing any of them. Please do kind of think about this. We'd love to have even more participate. We are willing to do a third live stream that same week if we get enough entries that we need to do that. So thank you very much, Miss Sarah James, for adding to the prize pool donation. I'll have to keep track of these now. I love seeing some of these people they've already kind of written the songs. So, and as we get updates to the prizes, we'll let you know. But honestly, it'd be fun just to participate. There will be some prizes. I think last year we gave the winner covers. What do you call those covers? I can't remember.
The Juniper Books covers.
The Juniper book covers that I have here on the books.
And some Amazon gift cards.
Yeah, we got Amazon,
like
$100 or something like that for like the second place or third place, whatever it was. Mandar, Beth Weston.
We've already got over $100 donated.
There you go. See,
that's amazing.
And we'll do a live stream like
crazy.
this.
That's awesome.
We'll put together a prize pool. We'll let you know, and maybe we can even pick more winners just depending on what that prize pool looks like. Black T-shirt fund from Deadsy. Thank you very much. Any questions for those in chat? Do you have a question about this competition that we can answer for you?
Well, Andrew just said in chat, he said, must have multiple shows. I don't want another 4-hour live stream. You know, last year we did break it into 2 live streams, and it was like long, and
They were long.
But I have to
very
say,
long.
if we get enough submissions, I mean, we'll do as many shows as it takes. You know,
Yeah.
like we
Yeah, it
want
was- it
everyone.
was a
volunteering
blast.
Matt.
What a week.
Yeah.
It'll
Well,
be here at the Dusty Wheel, that's for sure. But
Yeah, maybe it'll
Um,
kill momentum if we do like 1 a week or something. But that's a potential. You know, turn it into a season. Of a
no,
TV
well,
show.
it was. I'm sure we'll do something where it's just a fun couple of days. We'll get suggestions. Maybe there'll be a 2-week kind of thing where we do one. We'll play it as
Pre-show or
as things go. But please do reach out to any of the 3 of us. Get on
Yeah,
social media,
absolutely.
ask around. We'll start posting this everywhere. Please share with fans. Like the point here is to let fans know this is happening. We can't do it on our own. If I send a tweet out, it might get 10 retweets or something. You know, all of us need to kind of be talking about this. All of us need to be posting social media, and we'd love to have as many fans as we can.
Yeah, and remember, don't share it online, but definitely like hype it up, like tease people. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm working on my song parody. Can't wait. That kind of thing.
Yep.
So if we can get double submissions last year, I'll be ecstatic. But
Oh, yeah.
something tells me we might get more than that.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
I was thinking, I have sneaking suspicion.
I hope so. I mean, honestly, we do hope that we have so many it's ridiculous because that'll just
I
make
would be
this even
buried
more
in them.
fun.
Just
Yeah.
not enough time to watch them. That would be awesome.
Yeah, there's 400 of you still watching. I know we lost some of you. You're like, okay, I get it. I'm not in it.
I get it, you're done. Never.
Yeah, they're like, where's the form? The form, I'll post it again here in chat unless you have it there. Let me.
Someone posted it. One of your mods posted it, I think.
I have the form right here.
Paul said I posted it there. Yeah.
I'll go grab the link, and we'll post it in chat here. I'll get it in the description of the video too. Let me see if that opens it.
And that's another thing. We'll just want to make sure we're sharing this all over on Discord.
Yep.
and everything.
So there's
Yes,
the
everywhere.
link
Everywhere
to
you
it
can.
if you want. Kate Sharkey said, "I'm not musically inclined. How about an art contest?" Yes, we want to do more contests. We were doing them every couple of months, and art
got
was
out of
one
that.
of the things.
Yeah.
And we all got
The
tied
show
up in
came
the
out.
show
Yeah.
coming-
Yeah. We got busy.
Tweeter of Chaos said, "Would Die Meistersinger von Numbella in its entirety be too much?" No.
I'm gonna
I
guess
remember.
that's a really long.
I know. Now I need to go. Now we're all gonna go find out.
We're Googling now.
Is that the real Tweeter of Chaos, or is that just a random person?
I mean, it is a Tweeter of Chaos account, that's for sure. Now I have to look up what this music. It looks like it's an opera, a 3-act opera.
4.5
Sure.
hours is what I'm
Sure.
seeing.
Well,
Yeah.
if you put together a 4.5-hour song, I will listen to it.
The really funny bit happens at the 3.5 hour mark.
Oh, Aaron Morris just asked, just parody anything about the books or show, or is there something specific topic to parody? Anything about the
anything.
books or show.
Yeah, Wheel of Time. Yeah.
It has to be Wheel of Time related. You could parody mine was kind of about fandom, but it was about something in the books. It was a mix or something to that effect. But yes.
Yeah, I was going to
Something
say
has
it
to
could be related to the authors. It could be related to the production of the show. It could be related to the fans. You're right.
And I should say this: we're not going to play anything mean spirited. So if you if you write a parody, but it's attacking someone,
It's a good way to get disqualified immediately.
yeah. So yeah, let's stay away from that mentality in our submissions here. Let's try to have fun and stay in world as much as possible, and not make this about attacking other fans.
Right.
That would be our preference. If we think you've gone too close to that, we may reach out. Just assume if you're going to write one like that, you may get disqualified. It may not be included. So I would say, yes, don't disparage people with your parody. If you want to attack Gawain, Bob, go ahead.
You won't get my vote, but sure.
T-Paga said no book cloak songs. Specific to a category of people like that, it just, again, it comes down probably to the content of your parody.
Right.
But try not to write parodies that are there to disparage people outside
We want to have fun
of
with
the world
this
of the time.
and be upbeat and happy. The whole point is to keep people happy and make people, smile, not,
Yes.
make them feel terrible about themselves.
This isn't to take out your angst on all of the things you hate about what's come out recently or not, or fandom.
Yeah.
So thank you for another tip here from Light Blinded Fool. I'll have to go through all of these and start putting together a prize pool. Apparently.
Yeah, it's so awesome, you guys. We should do this more often.
that's
Just get
absolutely-
people to do the prize pools. That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
if you give us too much money, we're just going to run away with it. That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to Mexico. See you later.
Yeah, the $200 or $300
Live in the
right
beach.
now. Yeah. Get Rafe to make the prize tickets to season 2 premiere.
Can you imagine?
You heard that, Tweeter of Chaos. You're watching.
Production team is listening.
you're watching Tweeter of Chaos. Yeah. You want to throw something in, Tweeter of Chaos? This is out to the Amazon cast and crew. In fact, if there's any among the cast and crew of production of the show, and you want to be involved and you want to anonymously, put something in or something to that effect, let us know. Please reach out. We'd be happy to have you as part of this. Yeah, we'd love it. We'd love for you to be joining in. We know it's a little bit much if a celebrity joins in. Obviously, if Marcus Rutherford is doing his own and he submits it, he's likely to win.
Yeah,
although not necessarily. So, we'd love it if the cast and crew of the Wheel of Time and Amazon Prime wanted to get involved too.
Absolutely.
And one. So, yeah, don't.
Can you imagine if we could get Lauren Ball as like a guest judge? That would be amazing.
I know. I'll have to. Yeah, I will send a note and.
So a free one-up shirt to every cast or crew member who submits a submission to this. There we go.
There you go.
That is absolutely zero incentive. But it's there.
Exactly.
Look, I'll give a free Unraveling the Pattern shirt to any cast and crew who just asks for one.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to put the link to the rules here. We're not going to keep you much longer tonight. We didn't get to calls, but there is one person waiting. So I will bring that one person in that is waiting, happens to be waiting. We didn't get to any calls tonight, but we'll take it.
That's terrible.
Call.
Sorry.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Oh, it's Adam. I totally got lost paying attention to all the parody songs that I completely forgot everything I wanted to bring up from the season 2 discussion.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully you did get lost. That's a fun place to get lost in. Did you want to make any kind of final note or question to us before we let you go? We just wanted to, I saw you holding on there on hold here for it. I just want to bring it in before we end the show.
Oh, actually, you know what? I think I can gather my thoughts enough. So this is actually in regards to how much they're going to combine books 2 and 3. Honestly, I'm most curious about what they're going to do with Perrin and Matt, because obviously, like, Rafe has talked extensively about expanding out Moiraine's book 2 plot into an entire season, and the growth that she experiences in book 2 is it's so pivotal, and so like it's basically Moiraine. Like she's so unprepared to actually deal with the threat that she's been preparing for in book 1, and she comes back after an entire book long hiatus, and in book 3, like, leveled up and kicking ass. She's bale firing, Forsaken, and whatnot, and it'll be really. I'm really excited to see her actually undergo that development, and I'm really excited to see where they take that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do with that. In other words, her development, what she was doing was off screen in The Great Hunt, and so it seems like Rafe is like, well, we need her to develop as a character on screen, and so it'll be interesting to see how they make that development actually happen. So yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Hey, thanks for sticking on. Hey, I'm gonna let you get back, Adam, to watching the parodies. They're amazing.
so many good ones.
They're so good. They're so good.
You know, to his point, I do like the idea that we'll get to see a little bit more of Moiraine's leveling up. You know, she's going to go through some sort of trials in season 2 where maybe she's stilled or shielded or whatever it is, right? But she's also going to be learning as much as she can, and so I actually like the idea of sort of following her through that journey instead of just seeing one little side shoot chapter where she's visiting those 2 Ola Aes Sedai or whatever. See her going through that.
It's essentially like a level up montage in one chapter, and to see her actually go through that development and how she struggles to actually get the knowledge to be capable with dealing with the threat that she knew was coming, and see the difference between what she was doing in season 1 and season 3, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, thanks, Adam, for calling in here. You everyone here hung out long enough for us to remember that there's a mug giveaway. So, I always
we didn't have to come back.
Giveaway. So Taylor's going to set this up, everybody. Don't put raffle in chat. You can be part of the mug giveaway here in chat shortly. You'll learn how to do it here once you see a message show up in chat telling you that it's open. Then that's when you'll join the raffle. Adam, make sure you stick around in chat and join the raffle. Good luck jumping back to the parody contest, and hopefully you encourage others to join us. We'd love to have more submissions this year. Okay. Have a good evening. Okay.
Heck yeah. All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Night.
Okay, Taylor, go ahead and make that work.
There's a delay. I just want to make sure you got the don't put it in yet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You can do it now. So that should show up here shortly. You'll see it. Then you can enter that. I'll see it after I think you see it, or I'll see it before you. I don't know how it works. There's a weird delay thing that I have to kind of do here. While you're all entering this, we're going to watch one of my favorites. So it's in chat now. You can enter the raffle. We're going to watch another song parody that I loved. That was freaking amazing. This is one of the first ones that we all saw that was submitted. Marcel is just amazing. And
really good.
Sorry, really quick, Matt. I got to sign off and go.
Okay, Lauren, we'll see you, man.
Love you guys. I will definitely watch Marcel's parody again in a bit. I just want to say real quick, for people who know who I am, I'm coming back. I'm making more videos. It's going to happen. I promise. I've taken a bit of a break.
All know who Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern is. If you don't, we'll make sure the link's in the description. Go check out Unraveling the Pattern. Lauren does amazing work. He's busy right now, as we all are. But
thank you so much for having me. Can't wait for the song parody challenge. And love you all. I'm going to take off, but
love you too,
enjoy the rest of the show. See you guys.
Okay, we'll see you.
See you later. Bye.
John, you going to stick around with me? Okay.
Sure. Why not?
Here, let's watch Marcel together. This is pretty amazing. Oh, probably you don't need it. There we go.
Black wind blowing in the dead of night. Take my flaming eyes and learn to cry. For all your life, you were only waiting for this moment to rise. Black wind coming in the dead of night. Take my bloody thoughts and learn to think. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Black wind fly, black wind fly into the light of a dark black night. Flesh so fine to tear. Gnash the skin to strip to plate. So nice to plate the strips. So nice, so red, the drops that fall. Blood so red, so sweet. Sweet screams, pretty screams, singing screams. Scream your song, sing your screams all alone.
Amazing.
Oh, there's so many other good ones.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, I'm back.
So many good ones. Oh, back. There we go.
Okay, so Taylor, we'll get Taylor back in here, and he will pick us a winner of the raffle for the mug. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Marcel, that was literally, John, wasn't that one of the first ones that was submitted?
I think it was either the first or the second we got. I believe.
Yes. It was in the group of the first, and we just saw the first three that were submitted. I think
were so good.
Chancey threw one in there, was amazing. And Marcel did this one, and we were just like, what is going on?
What did we do?
I was like, what? This is ridiculous. Okay, let's pick the winner of this raffle, Taylor, and let's let everybody get back to their day. Thank you all for being here tonight. Please do follow John's channel, What Up, out there. John covers the news. He has 2 news videos out tonight.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Have you ended it yet?
No, did they go through? Did you see people?
Yeah, they were all entering it. Taylor's like, where is everybody? Yeah, Try it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it shows up that there was a.
It does, yeah.
So
Maybe?
I haven't seen it end yet. Did we
It
see
says it in chat. It said it ended. Yeah,
you can no longer enter the raffle. There you go, Taylor. Now check it, maybe. Taylor's gonna be like, "There's try picking a winner." It's like that's really weird. Do you know what's going on there? Where Taylor's looking at this. That's really strange. Maybe you need to restart that thing.
I don't know.
Okay, Taylor might have to do this one more time. We might have to watch one more parody, and this time we need to verify that we see people join in here. So you can try doing that, I guess. Yeah, I would cancel that out. This is always the end, guys. Okay, Taylor's going to start this again. You're going to have to enter the raffle again. Yeah, bad raffle here, everybody. And we're going to watch
play,
and
Matt?
verify.
Which one?
Okay, so now start entering again in the raffle, if you will, and let's see if this actually works this time, everybody.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened.
So it's entering now?
Yeah.
Okay, so re-enter. Yeah, I would stay here. Let's make sure that we see. I'm seeing. Okay, so it's working this time, everybody. Re-enter the raffle. Okay, so sorry, that was really weird. I will, like I said, we will watch another parody because that's not fair. So let's go back here. John, did you have a favorite you want me to throw in here?
Other than mine, no.
Oh, this one, Lesbian Nerd is
Royals was really good. I liked Royals.
Okay, let's.
Worry.
Miss Sarah James is amazing. We'll do Royals here. Okay, everybody, let's play Royals. This one's great too. They're all great. Okay,
So good. Hard to
here we
pick.
go.
I've seen countless diamonds in the flesh. I cut my teeth on politics in Camelin, and I'm so proud of my dress. And I can't blame you, your kingdom envy, where everybody's like Morgaze, Gawain, Galadriel's a hottie, Elaine and the dragon being naughty. We don't care. We're driving carriages in the streets, and my songs like sea folk, porcelain, 3 clocks on my mantle, silks and gold crowns. By the way, I channel, stop and stare at my beautiful golden hair, for we are the royals. It runs in our blood. The kind of lux is just for us. We have servants dressing us. I will be your ruler. You can call me Majesty, and sweetling I'll rule. This is not a fantasy. My friends and I wear Aes Sedai. I hold my chin so very high to the sky, and everyone who knows me knows I do what I want, like Hunt Black Aja. But everybody's like Morgaze, Gawain, Galadriel's a hottie, Elaine and the dragon being naughty. We don't care. We're driving palanquins in the square, and my songs like sea folk, porcelain, mortals and a wise one, silks and gold crowns, bathing till the day's done. Stop and stare. I've got embroidery everywhere, for we are the royals. It runs in our blood. That kind of lux is just for us. Feel free to make a fuss. I will be your ruler. Call me defender of the realm, and Piglet I'll rule. This is not a fantasy. I'm bigger than I ever dreamed, and I'm in love with being queen. My first sister over there, she will stab you with her spear, for we are the royals. It runs in our blood. That kind of lux is just for us. You had best not cross us. I will be your ruler. Call me protector of the people, and darling, I'll rule.
I forgot how that one ended. Okay,
so
James
good.
Doyle just tuned back in and said, "What's going on?" Basically, we're at the
What
end of
is
the
this?
show. We're talking about the new parody contest coming up. We're showing some old Wheel of Time song parodies, and we're picking a winner of the mug contest. So Daniel Green just showed up right at the end. You just turned on the Wheel of Time song parody review from last year. And like I said, we have a new song parody contest coming out this year.
And Daniel, you better enter this year. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Daniel, you're here.
100%.
You've got to enter, right, man? Who wants
Please.
Daniel Green to enter? Let's poll the people here.
Everybody
who
does.
thinks Daniel Green should enter the Wheel of Time song parody contest? Here you go. How about should?
Spell it wrong. You got to spell it wrong.
Should Daniel Green enter? There we go. Okay, there you go, Daniel. We'll let you know what the poll says here. Let's pick a winner of the mug here, Taylor, and let's say goodnight to everybody here. Thank you for sticking around tonight. I hope you enjoyed the discussion of that podcast review, and hope you're looking forward to this new contest that we were putting together for March. Taylor, go ahead and pick our mug winner. Congratulations, Mando Beast won the Wheel of Time or the Dusty Wheel mug tonight. Mando Beast, you've won a mug. Please reach out to us over on Discord, or you can reach us on Twitter or Facebook, wherever you would like to reach out to us. Let us know that you won a Dusty Wheel mug. I'll explain to you how that works. So, yes. John, thanks for being here tonight.
Had fun.
Yeah, this is a blast. I think I heard Lauren, did he say he was going to actually create one of these song parodies?
He did, yes.
Yeah. So
I'm working on one as well, just so you're aware.
Oh, you are working on this one as well? Okay.
No yellow slickers this year, though. Something a bit different.
I've started writing a couple. I just haven't finished them. I don't know. I feel like Freak is good enough. If we have the karaoke at JordanCon, if they do that this year, I will sing Freak for those there. That's my kind of tradition. I do sing mine at JordanCon when it's possible. So, like I said, congrats, Mando Beast. Did I see Mando Beast in chat? Hopefully, Mando Beast found out that they won and will reach out.
Someone will.
Yeah,
know,
there
I'm
he
sure.
is. There is Mando Beast. So, into his poll, almost 200 of you voted. Should Daniel Green enter the Wheel of Time song parody contest? 91% say yes. Daniel, that means you have to enter. So
that means 9% of these people don't like you. So you have to prove them wrong.
Yeah, you have to enter now, Daniel.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, again, if you want rules for this, I'll make sure the link is in the description of this video. Please do let fans know about the song contest. You can go on social media and actually see. I think we added this on social media to my. I think I tweeted about this.
I tweeted it too. I think Lauren did as well.
Yeah, you again. If just this is, don't forget this is what we're doing. Please do join the competition with us.
Enter for some great prizes.
Yeah, there should be some amazing prizes. Season 2, guys. You have until March 15th. That's a blast. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun. I saw What About WatCon? If we have karaoke at WatCon, I'll do it there too. Maybe I'll have to write a separate one for WatCon. So, okay, John, that's it, man. Any final thoughts before we let these fine people go tonight?
I'm old and tired. That's my final thought.
You get some sleep, everybody, and I'm
That's
looking
right.
forward to seeing your song parody submissions. And expect some more news. I'm hoping to kind of kick back into a more regular schedule on Sundays. We might end up doing some live podcast stuff on Sundays instead. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Otherwise, we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Thanks for being here. As we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel, and smash to black. Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well. And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm not wearing one.
I see Lukomi as something along the lines of a Shada Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking. is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey
I am
everybody,
wrong
welcome to
about
the Dusty Will Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a
wow,
traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
Probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,